All right, what's going on, my fellow wealth creators? Matty guys here. Welcome to another training. Today, I want to do a video breaking down why I decided to become a private money lender. And I want to do this video now because I literally just closed on my very first private money deal. I'm really excited. It's just cool to start to see these things manifest and actually happen because I've been studying for a long time now, just months and months of doing research and learning the process, and finally closing on a deal and seeing that come to fruition is just really neat. And I just want to go through some very specific benefits of private money lending that really intrigued me. Maybe it'll intrigue you. It's not investment advice, not necessarily trying to convince you to become a private money lender, but I do think it is a really powerful way to invest in real estate. And what's nice about real estate is, like, there's so many different ways to do it, but you don't have to do the fix and flip. You don't have to buy the rentals. You don't have to do multifamily, commercial, flipping contracts, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to decide what you want to do in real estate. And there's nothing wrong with any of the strategies, right? It just comes down to what you are looking to accomplish, what your situation is right now. And there were some very specific benefits, attributes to private money lending that I really resonated with. And it made 100% sense for me to become private money lender. So first off, whoops, just hit my desk. I will link down below in the description to the video I just did, breaking down the full details, all the numbers, the strategy, how I found the deal, etc. To my first private money deal. I will link that down below if you want to check that out. I definitely recommend going through it. Some really good stuff there. But with that said, let me go ahead and share my screen. I got a few benefits, just a few slides here, just to keep me on track to just go through why I became a private money lender, the primary benefits. One of the main cons that, for some people, this might not be a good fit, right? It's really the only downfall that I see, but we're going to go through all that. So why I decided to become a private money lender. So here are my favorite benefits, and what really drew me to private money lending is its passive nature, right? Where, like, I'm lending on the real estate. I don't have to, I'm basically being the bank. I don't have to manage contractors. I don't have to worry about renovations. I don't have to worry about managing tenants, selling the property, project management, none of that. You could argue with the tenant side of it that, well, yeah, but if the investor doesn't pay, the borrower doesn't pay you back, it's kind of like dealing with a tenant. And that's where you would potentially go through the foreclosure process, whatever. That's pretty rare when you do your research and you make sure, like, you vet your investor and borrower very good. And there's some specific things that you can do to really mitigate your risk with that. But that's a whole other video, and you learn a lot about that in the Private Funding Academy that I recommend. It's what I went through. I'll link that down below in case you are interested in becoming a private money lender. It's literally a step-by-step blueprint for becoming a lender, and what specific actions and vetting process you want to go through, actions to take, vetting process you want to go through to make sure that this truly is a very passive investment for us. So make sure you check that out if you're interested. But it really is a passive way to invest in real estate. And that works for me really well because, again, I don't want to I'm not in a place in my life right now where I want to do the fix and flips, the renovations, marketing the property, selling it, etc. Building up a rental portfolio. It's just not where I'm at in life at the moment. Maybe later on down the road. But for now, this is a great way for me to put my money to work within real estate, still earn really good returns, and be able to work on my business. That's in creating content. That's really where I'm focused right now. But that doesn't mean I can't be involved in real estate. So private money lending, very passive. It's secured, which makes it very low risk. So sometimes people think about, like, lending money as something that would be risky, right? And it can be if you don't do it correctly. That's why education is so key and learning the process is so important. But at the end of the day, when you know what you're doing and you take certain steps, this is actually very low risk a very low risk way to invest in real estate because it's secured by a promissory note, which basically just lines out the details of the loan. Like what the term of the loan is, how many points are being charged, the interest rate, what happens if the lender doesn't pay or the borrower doesn't pay, et cetera, right? So it's secured by a promissory note and a mortgage/deed of trust, depending on what state you're in. So the note is backed up by this mortgage that's filed in the public domain, right? It's just like if you were to buy a house and you got a mortgage from the bank. that bank then files that mortgage and they can foreclose on the property if you do not pay. It's literally the same exact thing when you're a private money lender. So if the borrower does not pay, I can literally take back that property and sell it to recoup my money plus more, assuming that I purchase it correctly. That's also why you want, a low LTV. I talk about that in the other video, but 70% LTV is kind of my max, at least right now. So when you manage that LTV, if something were to happen and I had to take possession of the property, I could sell the property, recoup my money. It would be a pain, but as far as the monetary risk goes, it's pretty low because it's secured by an actual real estate, by the actual property. Great returns. I just did my deal, lent it out at 12% interest. I didn't do points on my first deal just because I want to get the experience, first deal under my belt. I'm also working with a very experienced investor. So, but I lent out at 12%. You could do more than that. It, again, just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. And of course, the negotiation with the borrower too. But I will likely be charging points in the future because that is a very good part of the profit. That is a very good portion of the profit center when you're doing this. But you can make great returns. Lend it out at 12%. And it's backed by real estate. I'll take that over the stock market any day. Nothing wrong with the stock market. Again, it's just not in alignment with me. And if I can earn 12% per year plus points, and it's secured by real estate, something I can actually take possession of. I also, I'm skipping ahead a little bit here. I have control as well. Like I said, I can take possession of the property. I can influence the deal if necessary. If the deal starts to go south, maybe they're losing contractors or whatever, I can get involved if I needed to, right? I'm not going to have to with the deal that I'm doing right now, but I'm saying I have that flexibility. I have that option, which I really like. Can't do that with the stock market. Right, so the potential for great returns, like I said earlier, I'm literally being the bank here. Banks are extremely profitable. Why not mimic what they do? Of course, I'm implementing the infinite banking concept with this. So I borrowed against my policy at 5.5%. I lend it out at 12. I'm keeping that positive spread, that positive arbitrage there. Plus the money, my money is still growing in my policy. So very, very efficient. It's very similar to what banks do. Also, what's cool about private money lending is how it's taxed as well. It's typically taxed as interest earned, not personal income. I'm sure there's different factors that would impact that. So, not tax advice or anything. Talk to your attorney or a tax professional about that. But it does have some tax advantages as well. And already talked about the control. Now, for me, really the only downfall, the only con to this, from my perspective, is that you make less money each deal. Which, on the other hand, it can be argued, again, depending on how the deal goes, you could potentially make more money than the borrower, assuming that, basically, that scenario would be if they didn't sell it at the price that they wanted, or maybe there were some unexpected major renovations that needed to take place that ate up a ton of their profit. But again, if you're working with an experienced investor, it's probably not going to happen. So really, for me, the only con is you make less each deal. So making $30,000 in profit when you fix and flip it after all the renovations are done and you sell it, versus, I might make $4,000 of interest earned. That it's very similar to my first deal. So they're going to do really good, assuming they get their sale price after it's renovated. They're going to make tens of thousands of dollars on that deal. I mean, they got a really good purchase price on the property. And so I'm not going to make anywhere near as much money as them, but I'm also not doing as much work as them. So one is not better than another. It's just, for me, I like the passive nature of it, putting my money to work. I'm still building wealth. I'm not making as much money, but I don't have to commit as much time and resources into the process of creating that profit. Right. I'm totally okay with the smaller amount of interest earned than the profit that I would make if I were to do the process myself, because I know what I can do with my business and the content that I'm creating, et cetera. Right. So you just have to figure out which works best for you. Like, do you want the more passive approach, or do you want to be involved and get the bigger paycheck? Right. So with that said, I'll go ahead and wrap up here. If you're interested in becoming a private money lender, I'll have lots of resources down below to the real estate investor and private money lender community that I joined. That's actually how I was able to land my first deal. The building up your network is just so important. I have a link to that. And then I'll also have a link to the academy that I went through, that I continue to go through, that basically is that step-by-step blueprint on how to become a private money lender, how the process works. putting together promissory notes and those mortgages, those deeds of trust, learning about title, learning about insurance, how to vet investors, how to do comps and market analysis and all that stuff. It's really, really good academy. And I'll have a discount code for you guys down below. So with that said, I'll go ahead and wrap up. I hope that was helpful, guys. Again, my point with this channel is just to share my journey, share what I'm doing as far as building wealth, achieving my own financial goals, so that maybe it helps you along yours. All right, so if you have any questions, feedback, drop them down in the comment section below. Always love hearing you guys' thoughts. And I hope you're crushing it, and I will talk to you in the next one. To your success, Matty Ice is out.